That is what is going on. Okay. Now, what we are really going to do is Butler is not just interested in language the way in which it is practiced. Butler is also interested, for example, in psychoanalysis. So Butler, you may not have that in the first chapter, but I'm just sort of giving you an idea, just to give you an idea as to how widespread, how widely Butler casts their theoretical net. It's very, very widely spread. Psychoanalysis also. And so therefore Lacan becomes a very important part, absolutely. Freud becomes a very important part of it. And even, but it's very funny how Butler takes down each of these sort of famous top figures of Western theory and says, oh, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. And, I think of gender trouble as a wrecking ball. Literally. I mean, it's a wrecking ball. And Butler flings that wrecking ball at much of Western theory, and the Western theory collapses. Freud. What does Butler have to say about Freud? Primarily, when Butler is talking about identity construction, and when Butler is talking primarily about the gender construction, what is basically being done is that Freud tells us that our sexuality is amorphous at the beginning. It doesn't have any kind of structure. It doesn't have any kind of direction, right? And then Freud says that at some point, what happens is that, if you're a male child, then you start to desire your mother, and then if you're a female child, you start to desire your father. But then Butler, actually, Freud is not terribly interested in women. No, Freud is much more interested in men. So therefore, you've got the Oedipus complex. You desire your mother, and then of course you can't have your mother. You can't. I've never been able to make sense of this. You can't have your mother, but then you learn to transfer your desire from your mother to somebody who sort of looks like your mother. How? I mean, that bit never makes any sense to me. So therefore, when a heterosexual man starts the dating game, would he then go around with a picture of his mother saying, but hold on a second. No. I don't think that's the way the dating game works, do you? I mean, the heterosexual men usually don't go around with a picture of their mother, instead of holding it to a girl's face and saying, yeah, but your eyes are not there. I'm so sorry. So that's not the way it works. But Freud, in his great wisdom, decided that is the way in which it. But what amuses me even more is that if we are all bisexual, then something even more mysterious happens with the desire of the boy for the father, and something happens, and the boy starts to relate to the father, relate. So first you start off by wanting to kill your father, and then you say, well, actually, hang on, I want to be just like you, okay? And I never understood how that works. How does a tendency to finish off a guy ends up by being, I want to be like you? How? So Butler comes in and says, hold on, Mr. Freud, hang on, I don't think you're telling the full story over here. So when Freud talks about repression, Butler says, wait, you're only talking about repressing your sexual desire towards your mother, which is the heterosexual repression. Hold on a second. Before the heterosexual repression, there is another repression that comes in, which you are not talking about, the repression of homosexual desire. You are first repressing your desire towards your father. Then you are repressing your desire towards your mother. So therefore, you're first repressing your homosexuality, then you're replacing your heterosexuality, but you're somehow channeling your heterosexuality in a certain way which is going to, consolidate it. So doesn't make sense. So therefore, even the way in which Freud theorizes gender identity Butler also finds fault in it. Sorry, your theorization is inadequate. You know, the favorite term that we use in academia, it's limited. So therefore, here is Butler telling Mr. Freud, good luck, congratulations on your efforts, can do better. 5 out of 10. So that is really, and Butler can be pretty brutal. So if you read, when I read Gender Trouble, seriously, when I read Gender Trouble, I really read it as detective fiction. Really. I read it as detective fiction because I wanted to see who are they going to kill next? That's all that I was interested in. Is in So therefore, if you don't want to read Gender Trouble as theory, don't read it as detective fiction. Just read it to see how Butler chooses one theorist, kills them, moves on to the next theorist, kills them. It's fantastic to watch. It's just fantastic to watch. And of course, as I told you, even Foucault does not escape. So therefore, how much time have I spoken for now? 55 minutes. Okay. So I'll speak for maybe for another 5 or 10 minutes, and after which, I will be willing to take your questions, and then depending upon where the question answer session leads, I can talk some more. Right. So what we are then going to do is Butler says that we have to begin to think in a new way about chronology. We are going to think in a new way. She doesn't actually write it in so many words, but I'm just paraphrasing Butler. We have to rethink chronology. We have to rethink the before and after. That, by the way, she does say in her book. She says we have to think about before and after. And she talks about before and after in the context of law. And what she says is that it's very, very interesting how we make the law and then we say we are helpless in front of the law. I'm going to say that again. We make the law and then we say we are helpless against the law. All right? So therefore, a crime is not a crime until there is a law against it. I will leave you with that thought. A crime is not a crime until there is a law calling it a crime. Does that make sense?
We always depend on the others' decision or opinion.
No. I'm going to talk. Let's talk about what is there in, for example, we used to have something called the Indian Penal Code, but now we have the Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita. Okay, my teeth are still in there. Okay. Because every time I pronounce it, I feel like a couple of my teeth are going to fall out. But no, it's still there. I can still talk. So in the Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita, it is a fantastic document that we have now. Because it's so much fun. Because the current sort of government, in their wisdom, they decided that we should be properly post-colonial. And I said, yeah, absolutely, let's be properly, I am all for post. And they said, we don't need this sort of horrible Indian penal code. So I said, yeah, okay, we'll have the Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita. Okay, totally, you go. So what they do is, they take out all the laws from the Indian penal code, they toss it up in the air, and wherever they fall, it's like, look, new set of laws. New. So all the laws that were there, the same laws are now here, only the sections have changed. Brand new. New and improved. Yeah? So we create the law and then we say, well, I'm sorry, but I'm helpless in front of the law. Let me give you an example. I'm sure this is the most obvious example that you have. In India, marital rape is not a crime. The clearest example that you have. So, wait, my brain is not working because I'm stupid. Rape is a crime. Rape is a crime. Marital rape is not a crime. So therefore,